This video tutorial will outline the roles and responsibilities of a ministerial committee team captain or an MC team captain. And first and foremost, I want to thank you for your willingness to serve as one of our MC team captains. As you know, our ministerial committee is broken down into separate MC teams. Each MC team is assigned an applicant who has been called to a position in our presbytery, and that individual MC team digs into the details and the background of that candidate in a much more comprehensive way than the ministerial committee as a whole could possibly do. So your MC team is responsible for the in-depth review of that candidate leading up to our face-to-face exam before the ministerial committee the day before presbytery. As an MC team captain, you will oversee your MC team through that process, and you will also be the liaison with the applicant for helping them understand the expectations that we have, submit the documentation that they need, and get a sense that we're being supportive of them even as we're examining them for the position that they're being called to. One of the principal tools that you will use as an MC team captain is the checklist that the presbytery provides and that we've formatted in our own way that will allow us to identify the documentation that we need from a given candidate, receive that documentation, evaluate that documentation, and also provide different action items or things that need to be done throughout the process in a very clear and orderly way. So let's go ahead and show you how you'll use the candidate checklist or applicant checklist as a team captain as you prepare it for your team so that they can utilize it in their work. First of all, each and every one of us on the ministerial committee has been given a Presbytery G Suite account. And it's through that G Suite account, after you log in, that you will access the files for the ministerial committee. This button with 9 little dots on it allows you to access the different applications that G Suite provides. And the checklist for our applicants is found in the Google Drive, the Presbytery's Drive account. Now, when you open up Drive, it initially opens up to your specific personal Drive folders. It's specified as My Drive over here on the left sidebar. So you'll want to click on the Team Drive tab. That Team Drive tab opens up the Ministerial Committee Team Drive for the Presbytery. You can see it here on the right. Click it to highlight it, double click it to open it, and now you're looking at all the Ministerial Committee's files. You can even see the title here, Ministerial Committee at the top, and all of our different members that are a part of our Ministerial Committee. To find an applicant's folder and to begin to do the work of reviewing the checklist for that given applicant, simply scroll down this list of folders until you find the MC Applicants folder. And here it is. I've highlighted it. Now I'll double click it to open, and you'll see a list of all the applicants that we're currently working with. For this example, let's suppose that the ministerial committee chair assigned you the preliminary examination of Lou Callagher. What we'll do then is we'll highlight Lou's folder, double click it to open it, and inside of that folder is the checklist for Lou Callagher. The ministerial committee chair will already have placed that checklist for Lou, the one that's specific for Lou and his ecclesiastical status and circumstances as he comes into the presbytery, in the applicant's folder. To open up that checklist, simply click it to select it, double click it to open it, and you'll see the checklist that is specific to Lou's application and situation. Now, there's a good possibility that the ministerial committee chair will already identify you as the team captain. You can see that team captain reference right up here at the top of the checklist. If the ministerial committee chair has not identified you as the team captain, although he's assigned you that role, you can simply use the drop down arrow, find your name, click it, and that way the rest of your team, when they open up the checklist, will see your name and know that you're the MC team captain for this particular applicant's examination process. The applicant's name is immediately below the team captain's name. In this case, it's Lou Gallagher. The applicant's contact information, the church that they're being called to, their current ecclesiastical status, whether they're an EPC teaching elder or a non-EPC teaching elder, and the current denomination that they're serving in, whether it's non-denominational or PCA or EPC, is all provided at the top of the checklist as a general overview. Now I want to show you something. In most cases, the ministerial committee chair will already have identified the applicant name that is being examined, that you've been assigned as you open the file. But if for some reason that applicant's name is not present here, you can simply use the drop-down checklist and select the name of your applicant, much as you selected your own name as the MC team captain. Now, what you'll notice is when I select one of the names of these applicants, the documents over here in the checklist will change. Watch how if I select Richard Van Voorst as our applicant, as opposed to Lou Gallagher, all of a sudden, the links to all those documents disappears. And we have this note, requested, 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 and only one document of many is present. If we switch back to Lou Gallagher, what we'll find is that pretty much all of the documents have been submitted. Our checklist has been built in an automated way so that when documents are submitted to our committee via the way that we request documents from a given applicant, those documents will automatically be presented in the checklist for review. Now that's a backend that you don't have to worry about as an MC team captain. It should function very effectively moving forward. If there's ever a hiccup in that process, go ahead and contact the ministerial committee chair. Again, the name of your applicant should be present in this cell. If not, you can find it in the drop-down list and then select it. Now let's take a look at the checklist and take a look at the responsibilities that you'll have as you set up this checklist for your MC team. Now what I'm going to do first is I'm simply going to go up here and change the zoom rate for this document to 75%. And that'll give me a better view of the checklist as a whole. Now, you've probably already watched the video on how to use the applicant checklist, and if you haven't, you can watch that video as well. It goes into detail regarding the checklist. But your role as an MC team captain, one of the primary roles, is to assign tasks to the members of your MC team. The assign column is found over here in column D, assigned to. And what you'll be doing as you set up your checklist for your MC team is you'll be deciding who you want to assign to what role throughout the process. So for instance, here's some of the documents that Lou Gallagher has already submitted. You can see the links here as a part of his examination process. Ordination credentials, statement of faith, personal information form, and so on. As the MC team captain, I'm going to open up this checklist before my team members get it, and I'm going to assign certain responsibilities to certain members of my MC team. Now, you're not going to assign those responsibilities to members of the entire ministerial committee. You're just going to assign these responsibilities to members of your MC team. You can go down the list and just pick names at random, or you can go down the list and think, well, who do I want to hold what role as we're moving through this examination process? But you'll want to assign each one of these tasks, whether it's a document review, documents are up here, checking references are down here, to a different member or a specific member of your MC team. By doing this, when your MC team opens up the checklist, they'll be able to identify what responsibilities are uniquely theirs. Now you can also include yourself as a part of this workflow process. But ideally, it's your responsibility to assign these tasks to different members of your MC team. When they complete these tasks, they will mark the status or action of the event as completed or requested or reviewed. They will include a completion date. You double click in the date column here that they've completed the work, and they will place a comment here on the side so that you know as the MC team and as the MC team captain how that particular document stood up? Was it clear? Was it good? Is it everything look good, or do certain things need to be investigated? And as the team captain, you'll assign these roles and then make sure that your team is completing the roles in a timely fashion. You'll also want to be checking the comments to see if any red flags pop up as a part of the examination of a given candidate. Now, the last thing that I'll point out to you as an MC team captain is that not only are we required to review documentation and to contact references, but there's also different aspects or action items that we need to complete as a part of the examination process. If you take a look down a little bit further, we've got to do things like request a background check. The permission form for a background check has already been filled out by this particular applicant, but we've got to go ahead and contact the individual in our presbytery who completes those background checks for us. You can ask one of your committee members to do that, or you can go ahead and assign it to yourself. But that's something other than a document review or a reference check. We also need to request written exams from the EPC General Assembly office at a certain point in time. That's probably something that you would want to do as a ministerial committee team captain. If you need help with that, you can contact the ministerial committee chair. And once those exams come back in, you'll want to record the scores in these different columns here. You can complete that as the chair or assign that to one of your team members. Basically, this is the key document, the checklist for how we will manage the examination of any given applicant. And your role as the MC team chair is to assign those tasks to members of your team and periodically to check in to see what status where they're at in that process of completing those tasks, if they've completed the tasks, and reading the comments to see if there's any red flags that surface. In addition to overseeing the examination process and the review of documents, you'll also be the primary liaison with your applicant. So you'll want to call them on the phone, touch base with them, talk to them a little bit about the process, and walk alongside of them throughout the process so that even though we're examining them, they know that they have our support as we're seeing if the Lord is actually calling them to serve within our presbytery. If you've got any additional questions regarding your responsibilities as a ministerial committee team captain, feel free to contact the ministerial committee chair, and any questions that you have will be answered by the chair. Again, I want to thank you for your willingness to serve as you help our churches call people that God has called to serve in roles as teaching elders and pastors in our presbytery. Thanks so much.